Well, profoundly perfect. Today, as well as a motivational speaker, lifeline coach, lifeline champion, and lifeline supporter, blogger, YouTuber, and at the same time, your beautiful friend. I am here to make you understand about the life that I am experiencing right now, that I'm going through, and at the same time, I am, beautifully spending so far, right? So, this is the time, this is the daily schedule that I am strictly following. Good morning, namaste, Shiva Sevaro, Fafullah, Jazalabba. I'm as blessed child of my Dadu Mamu is always here to share the beautiful ideas that I am always in grant with. The topic, the agenda, the beautiful scenario, or let's say the emotion, the sentiments that I am, you know, going through must be shared with you all guys. So I am here to make you understand, to make you, feel so much glad about the life, the, uh, you know, um, important life that we are experiencing, not by the force of other people, but by the, excitement, by the energy of our selves, right? So without any further ado, I am here uh, in this soul, the Bhavi soul, where most of the time I dedicate, I devote, I sacrifice myself, convincing you people that reading is very much important to open the eyes of our heart, right? If we ignore the habit of reading, then definitely that habit gonna kick us, and in the long run we will definitely regret why I am not being able to develop the habit of reading beautiful lines by the beautiful authors, by the beautiful legends in the history, to create such a, a magnanimous opportunity, that scenario by ourselves, just going through with the golden lines that is coated with the diamond, that sort of plate. So, without any further ado, I am so much excited and so much energetic and so much always open-minded person to read the book, read the lines, and deduce the gist that in such sort of book, that the books that I am holding right now is so much precious, that I always been explaining, describing why I am going through with this book, and why I am so much pleased and so much astonished and so much surprised finding out the surprises that the authors, or let's say, not I'm not just talking about in terms of this book, but also other sort of books which are life-changing books, right? So these are the beautiful suggestions, these are the beautiful confirmations, validations that we all people must follow by our heart. It is not pressure from my side, right? But it is the compulsion that we need to follow. So without any sort of background, without any sort of pretensions, and without any sort of pretext, I am here. I am as voracious reader is here to read it loud, the the book, the lines that are very much important, very much prominent to change the life of myself, to change the life of yours as well. So, beautiful people out there, I am welcoming with a huge heart, with the deepest passion of my, sessions of reading these sessions, and I want to welcome you all, guys, all beautiful out there. Okay, from today, and not only from today, but I am studying. I'm going through this book for the past few, months ago, due to some sort of tight schedule, due to some sort of tight, routine schedule. I'm not being able to accomplish this book and deduce the gist, deduce a summary, or let's say the review of this book. But as soon as possible, as I will, definitely gonna accomplish reading this book, and I definitely gonna give you all people a review of this beautiful book, Becoming by Michelle Obama. I think I should not devote myself who is see what are the contributions that she has made for empowering the women, and at the same time the standpoint, the stamina, the energy, the vibes she has been, flooding, should not be, described by me, because all in all people are so much, concerned and so much known about her. What are the sacrifices she has made in her one field, and she is the most gigantic, most magnificent lady, or let's say the influencer of our times, and she has already left her blueprint, she has already left her benchmark for developing, or let's say for worshipping the humanism as well. So here is the book that I am reading right now. Okay, I have already read it. I read about up to the 364, but today I am starting from 2023, and page number 365. Okay. The time seemed to love and live, making it feel impossible to measure or track. Each day was packed. Each week and month and year we spent in the White House was packed. I would get to Friday and need to walk to remember how Monday and Tuesday had gone. I would sit down to dinner sometimes and wonder where and how loans had happened. Even now, I still find it hard to process, as the velocity was too great, the time for reflection too limited. A single afternoon could hold a couple of official events, several meetings, and a photo shoot. I might visit several states in a day, or speak to 1,000 people, or have 400 kids over to do jumping jacks with me on Shoutland, all before putting on a fancy dress for an evening reception. I used my down days, those free from official business, to tend to Shasha and Malia and their lives before going back up again, back into here, makeup and wardrobe, back into the vertex of the public eyes. As we move toward Barack's re-election year in 2012, I felt that I couldn't and shouldn't rest. I was still earning my crush. I thought often of what I would and to whom I carried a history with me, and it wasn't that of the presidents or the first ladies. I had never related to the story of John Quincy Adams' the way I did to that of Sojourner Truth or Demot. By Woodrow Wilson, The Way I Was by Harriet Tubman, The Struggles of Rosa Parks and Coretta Scott King were more familiar to me than those of Eleanor Roosevelt or Mamie Elishore. I carried their stories along with those of my mother and grandmothers. None of these women could ever have imagined a life like the one I now had, but they had trusted that their perseverance would yield something better eventually for someone like me. I wanted to show up in the world in a way that honored who they were. I put this on myself as a pressure or driving need not to screw anything up, though I was thought of as a popular first lady. I couldn't help but feel haunted by the ways I had been criticized by the people who had made assumptions about me based on the color of my skin. To this end, I rehearsed my speeches again and again and again using a teleprompter set up in one corner of my office. I postcard on my schedulers and advanced terms to make sure every one of our events ran smoothly and on time. And I pushed even harder on my policy advisors to continue growing at the reach of Let's Move and joining forces. I was focused on not wasting any of opportunities I now had, but sometimes I had to remind myself just to breathe. Barack and I both knew that the months of campaigning ahead would involve extra travel, extra strategizing, and extra worry. It was impossible not to worry about re-election. The cost was huge. Barack and I'm extremely sorry for that. Uh, the cost was huge. Mitt Romney, the former Massachusetts governor who would eventually become the Republican nominee, would each raise over $1 billion in the end to keep to I was focused on not wasting any of the opportunities I now had, but sometimes I had to remind myself just to breathe. Barack and I both knew that the months of campaigning ahead would involve extra travel, extra strategizing and extra worry. It was impossible not to worry about re-election, and the guest was Hughes Barack and Mitt Romney, the former Massachusetts governor who would eventually become the Republican Republican nominee would each raise over $1 billion in the end to keep their campaign competitive, and the responsibility was also huge. Now, the election would determine everything from the fate of the new healthcare law to whether American would be part of the global effort to combat climate change. Everyone working in the White House lived in the limbo of not knowing whether we would get a second term. I tried not to even consider the possibility that Barack might lose the election, but it was there a kernel of fear that he and I carried privately, neither of us daring to give it voice. The summer of 2011 turned out to be especially browsing for Barack, a group of obstinate congressional Republicans refused to authorize the issuing of new government bonds, a relatively routine process known as raising the debt ceiling, unless he made a series of painful cuts to government programs like Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, which he opposed because they would hurt the people who were struggling most. Meanwhile, the monthly jobs reports published by Labor Department were showing consistent but sluggish growth, suggesting that when it came to recovering from 2008 crisis, the nation still wasn't there where it needed to be. Many people blamed Barack in the relief of following the death of Osama bin Laden. His approval ratings had spiked, hitting a 2 year high. But then, just a few months later, following the debt ceiling brawl and worries about a new recession, they had plunged into the lowest they had been. As this tumult was beginning, I flew to South Africa for a goodwill visit that had been planned months in advance. Sasa and Malia school year had just ended, so they were able to join me along with my mother and Craig's kids, Leslie and Very, who were now teenagers. I was headed there to give a keynote address at a US sponsored forum for young African women leaders from around the continent. But we had also filled my schedule with community events connected to wellness and education, as well as visits with local leaders and US consulate workers. We would finish with a short visit to Botswana, meeting with its president and stopping at community HIV clinic, and then enjoy a quick safari before heading home. It had taken no time at all for us to get swept up in South Africa energy. In Johannesburg, we toured the Apartheid Museum and danced and read books with young children at a community center in one of the black townships north of the city. At a soccer stadium in Cape Town, we met community organizers and health workers who were using youth sports programs to help educate children about HIV/AIDS, and were introduced to Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the legendary theologian and activist who had helped dismantle apartheid in South Africa. Tutu was 79 years old, a barrel chested man with eyes, bright eyes and an irresponsible laugh. Hearing that I was at the stadium to promote fitness, he insisted on doing push ups with me in front of a cheering pack of kids. Over the course of those few days in South Africa, I felt myself floating. This visit was a long way from my first trip to Kenya in 1991, um, when I had ridden around with Barack in Matatush and post a mouse broken down a VW along the side of a dusty road. What I felt was one part jet lag, maybe, but two parts something more profound and elating. It was as if we had stepped into the larger cross currents of culture and history reminded suddenly of our relative small niche in the wider arc of time, seeing the faces of the 76 young women who had been chosen to attend the leadership forum because they were doing meaningful work in their communities. I looked back to years. They gave me hope. They made me feel old in the best possible way. A full 60% of Africans' populations at the time was under the age of 25. Here were women, all of them under 30 and some as young as 16 who were building non-profits training all the women to be entrepreneurs and risking imprisonment to report on government corruption. And now they were being connected, trained, and encouraged. I hoped this would only amplify their might. The most surreal moment of all, though, had come early on that the second day of our trip. My family, though I had come early on that the second day of our trip, my family and I had been at the Nelson Mandela Foundation headquarters in Johannesburg visiting with Graka Michael, a well-known humanitarian and Mandela's wife, when we received word that Mandela himself would be happy to greet us at his home nearby. We went immediately, of course. Nelson Mandela was 92 at the time. He had been hospitalized with lung issues earlier in the year. I was told he seldom received guests. Barack had met him 6 years earlier as a senator when Mandela had visited Washington. He had kept a framed photo of their meeting on the wall of his office ever since. Even my kids, Sasa 10 and Molly about to turn 13, understood what a big deal this was. Even my eternally unfast mother looked a little stunned. There was no one alive who had had a more meaningful impact on the world than Nelson Mandela had, at least by my measure. He had been a young man in the 1940s when he first joined the American National Congress and began boldly challenging the all-white South African government and its enraged racist policies. He had been 44 years old when he was put in the sacklist and sent to prison for his activism, and 71 when he was finally released in 1990, surviving 77 years of deprivations and isolation as a prisoner, having had many of his friends many of his friends tortured and killed under the apartheid regime. Mandela managed to negotiate rather than fight with the government leader, broking a miraculously peaceful transition, breaking a miraculous transition to a true democracy in South Africa and ultimately becoming its first president. Mandela lived on a leafy suburban city in Mediterranean-style home set behind colored concrete walls. Greca Michel ushered us through a courtyard set by trees and into the house where, in awe white sunlit room, her husband sat in an armchair. He had sparse snowy hair and wore a brown batik shirt. Someone had laid a white blanket across his lap. Mm, he was surrounded by several generations of relatives. All of them welcomed Osh enthusiastically, something in the brightness of the room, the volubility of the family, and the scornity smell of patriarch reminded me of going to my grandfather Southside's house when I was a kid. I had been nervous to come, but now I relaxed. The truth is, I'm not sure that the Patrick himself completely grasped who we were, or why we had stopped in. He was an old man at this point, his attention seeming to drift, his hearing a little vague. This is Michelle Obama. Greca Michelle said, leaning close to his eyes, the wife of the US president. Oh, lovely, murmured Nelson Mandela. Lovely. He looked at me with genuine interest, though in truth I could have been anyone. It seemed clear that he bestowed the same degree of warmth on every person who crossed his path. My interaction with Mandela was both quiet and profound. Maybe more profound even for its quietness. His life's words had mostly been spoken now. His speeches and lectures, his books and protest chants already infused not just into his story but into humanity as a whole. I could feel all of it in the brief moment I had uh, with him, the dignity and spirit that had crossed equality from a place where none had existed. I was still thinking about Mandela 5 days later as we flew back to the United States, traveling north and west over African and then across the Atlantic over the course of a long dark night. Shasha and Malayali sprawled beneath the blankets next to their cousins. My mother dozed in a seat nearby, farther back in the plane. Staff and Secret Service members were watching movies and catching up on a sleep. The engine's hand. I felt alone and not alone. We were headed home being the strange, familiar city of Washington DC with its white marble and clashing ideologies with everything that is still needed to be fought and won. I thought about young African women I had met at a leadership forum. All of them now headed back to their one communities to pick up their work again, preserving through whatever tumult they faced. Mandela had gone to jail for his principles. He had missed seeing his kids grow up, and then he had missed seeing many of his grandkids grow up too. All this without bitterness, all this still believing that the better nature of his country would at some point prevail. He had worked and waited, uh, tolerant and undiscouraged to see it happen. I flew home propelled by that spirit. By that spirit, life was teaching me that progress and change happen slowly, not into years, for years or even a lifetime. We were planting seeds of change, the fruits of which we might never see. We had to be present. Wow, so touchy line. Three times over the course of the fall of 2011, Barack proposed bills that would create thousands of jobs for Americans, in part by giving it takes money to hire more teachers and first responders. Three times the Republicans blocked them, never ever allow a vote. The single most important thing we want to achieve at the Senate, minority leader Mitch McConnell and had declared to a voter a year earlier, laying out his party's goals is for President Obama to be a one-term president. It was that simple. The Republican Congress was devoted to Barack's failure above all else. It seemed they were not prioritizing the governance of the country or the fact that people needed jobs. Their one power came first. I found it demoralizing, infuriating, sometimes crushing. This was politics, yes, but in its most fractious and cynical form, seemingly disconnected from any larger sense of purpose. I felt emotions that perhaps Barack could not afford to feel. He stayed locked in his work for the most part, undaunted, riding out bumps and compromising where he could, clinging to the sober minded someone's gotta take this on. Okay, these are the beautiful lines. These are the life changing, beautiful gifts from our First Lady, Michelle Obama. What I am always, in the position to grasp the ideas is that the life of we, the life of we human being is so uncertain, so short. Every corner of our life should be felt and touched by the emotion of our heart, right? So, what I mean to tell you is that in every situation, we are not being able to, experience just experiencing the life we are living right now. What we must, you know, understand, or what we must penetrate in our comprehension, that sometimes these are the beautiful, life changing books which contribute a lot to transform our life completely, drastically, if we take the lines of this book genuinely. Okay, so I think in our lifetime, it is, you know, genuinely impossible to meet Nelson Mandela, the freedom fighter who has devoted his time to get other human beings free from the tyranny, from the aristocrat, and from the, so-called violent nature of the upper class people of his time. But still, he has contributed his time for the sake of people, right? He has spent, he has devoted, he has contributed almost all 27 years of his life just to bring drastic change for other people. In this periphery, in this scenario, or let's say in this arena, what I want to focus is that we need to go through the lines of this book so that we can grab the ample opportunity to, meet with the tasks, with the nature, with the, struggle that the legend like Nelson Mandela will be introduced, and we can, you know, be satisfied with the ideas, how he fought, how he combated, or let's say how he struggled hard to bring the, purest change in the society, and we can transform not in terms of our physicality, right? Not in terms our skin tone, not in terms of our haircut, not in terms of eating or other sort of disciplines in our life, but the mentality that we are holding are completely transformed just because we people are giving our focus, laser focus, just going through these books, because this book is not just mere paper. There is hidden the real authentic shelf of ourselves. So I always focus to all guys is that just don't afraid to be yourselves no matter what. Sometimes while we are walking, while we are performing our you know steps, our paths to change the society, at the time that society, that the crowd of the people, or let's say the whole universe might stand opposite against us. But what we need to encapsulate is that we are doing best. We are fighting for the welfare of all human beings. We are not just stick with the personal benefits. So I'm so much inclined, and the orientation that I'm giving right now is so much you know um, um, attracted with the humanitarian activities that the people from all over the universe, or let's say all over the globe, all over the world, they are contributing just to increase the level of our life. Yeah, this is the thing, this is the ideas that I am imparting. I think to impart the knowledge of discipline, the morals or moral values is so much easier. But what I have also felt sometimes is that just giving lectures, or let's say giving some sort of speeches, or let's say being orator is much more easier than to execute that sort of strategies, that sort of plans, that sort of ideas, so that society can step in the way that we want. So still, what we should not forget is that our responsibility towards the society, first of all ourselves, okay. First of all, we need to understand the responsibility towards ourselves. Actually, I'm not being so much self-centered, but first thing first, if we are not taking care of ourselves, our mental health, our physical health, our economical health, our social, political, because these are the beautiful dimensions which are going to support perfectly, directly or indirectly, to be the successful achiever in our life when there is a balance between, right? So we need to, what I mean to tell you is that, right, we need to take care of ourselves, not what other people gonna think us, or let's say criticize us, but what we have to, we must, and we need to laser focus in our activities, that we are hating, what we are doing, what we are eating, not just to show off others, but the way that the lifestyle that we are following should have the influence on the society, because as a part of a social animal, social human, social entity, we have a huge responsibility to transform the society, not in terms of education, not in terms of politics, not in terms of religion, but all in all, we need to develop the society in full package so that the seeds of change that we have shown in the mud of humanity can definitely gonna foster the human race, humankind. So I am as a human activist and as a social activist as well, giving such a speech of emancipation, speech of freedom, and I am always in the position to bring the changes, not in my lives, not in my life, not in my the moment that I'm experiencing right now, but what I have always focused my mind, my process of thinking is that along with me, my family must change, my society must change, my friend circle must be changed. All in all, global must be changed, or let's say the universe must be changed, and the influence that I'm living should influence all the lives of the people, because the most important, most prominent, most significant, you know, purpose of our lives is not just to live our life 100 years, but what we must take into consideration is that we must live eternally, like the shown, like the year. All in all, physically we might decay, we might fed away, but what we need to take into in our mind is that we people should have that sort of gravity, that sort of influence, that sort of impact on the societies, that we are here to bring the positive change, and make the world beautiful place to live in. Thank you so much. And supporting me. I am always there for you guys, beautiful people, not to change yourself physically, but I'm here to change you all people, mentally, physically, socially, religiously, diplomatically, strategically, in planned ways. Okay, if I have to improve, or let's say if you think that I need to do a more exercise, then definitely my effort will definitely gonna be there, because I always love the positive change, because I want the transformation in the युनिभर्स थ्याङ्क यू सो मच। पशुपतिनाथले सबैजनाको चाहिँ रक्षा गरिदियोस् होइन, त्यही भन्न चाहन्छु। जहिले पनि म यतिखेरको समयमा मेरो रिडिङ सेसन हुन्छ, रिडिङ सेसन चाहिँ म फलो गर्दै एकदमै सोसाइटी परिवर्तन हुनुपर्छ सबै भनेर चाहिँ म आइरहेको छु। नट ओन्ली सोसाइटी, फर्स्ट व्यक्तिगत रूपमा व्यक्ति सफल हुनु पर्यो। व्यक्ति जब एकदमै राम्रो भएर चाहिँ उर्वर चाहिँ भूमिमा जसरी चाहिँ हामीले कुनै पनि प्लान्टहरू रोप्दाखेरि टक्क आउँछ र उसले फ्रुट्स दिन्छ नि, त्यसै गरेर हामीहरू चाहिँ मानवहरू भनेको पनि राम्रो काम गर्नको लागि चाहिँ यो धरतीमा हामीलाई भगवान्ले पठाइसक्यो क्या। सो हामीले चाहिँ अरूको नराम्रो काम गरेर, अरूलाई तल निचो देखाएर, तछाड मछाड गरेर होइन हामीले केही पनि पाउँदैनौँ। सो यही भन्न चाहन्छु। मेरो के अरे यो यत्रो मोटो बुक मैले हजुरहरूलाई पढेर हजुरहरूलाई एजुकेटेड गर्ने होइन, एज अ एजुकेटर पनि, एज अ ट्रान्सफर्मर होइन, ट्रान्सफर्मरको रूपमा पनि मैले हजुरलाई के भन्न चाहन्छु भने परिवर्तन हामी चाहन्छौँ, राइट? परिवर्तन मात्र चाहन्छौँ, तर हामी कहिले पनि आफू परिवर्तन हुन चाहँदैनौँ। यो एउटा प्रब्लम हो कि है, हाम्रो मानसिकतामा परिवर्तन आउन जरुरी छ। हामीले अरूलाई कसरी सोच्छौँ, त्यो हाम्रो जज गर्ने जुन एउटा मेन्टालिटी छ, त्यसमा परिवर्तन आउन जरुरी छ। अरूले के भन्ला, वाट आर द पिपल क्यान थिङ्क अबाउट मी, अबाउट अस, त्यो कुरालाई हामीले छोडिदिउँ क्या। है त्यो कुरालाई छोडेर समात्यौँ भने हामीले कहिले पनि प्रगति गर्न सक्दैनौँ होइन प्रगतिको फेरि परिभाषा फरक होला तपाईँलाई के तपाईँले परिवर्तन गरेको जस्तो लाग्छ यदि मेरो सवालमा कुरा गर्छिन्छ भने मलाई मेरो परिवर्तन भनेको मैले हेर्ने दृष्टिकोण सबैमा सम्मान हुनुपर्छ सबैले चाहिँ होइन स्वतन्त्र भएर बाँच्न पाउनुपर्छ आफू भएर बाँच्न पाउनुपर्छ आफ्नो अस्तित्व आफ्नो स्व अस्तित्व को चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई भान हुनु पर्यो म के को लागि जन्मेको वाइ आइ एम हियर होइन म किन जन्मेको र मेरो अस्तित्व के हो भनेर त्यो अस्तित्वलाई बुझ्दै आफूले समाजलाई कुनै पनि व्यक्तिलाई के गर्न सकिन्छ आफूले व्यक्तिगत तवरबाट त्यो जिन्दगीलाई चाहिँ म सफल भन्छु क्या त्यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि मैले धेरै लामो चाहिँ मैले यसै लाइभ चाहिँ मैले प्रत्यक्ष रूपमा मेरो जुन ह्यान्डल चाहिँ मैले मेरो फेसबुक ह्यान्डलमा चाहिँ आएर यसरी चाहिँ मैले हजुरहरूलाई यसरी समय चाहिँ व्यतीत गरिरहेको छु एक्चुली आई एम डिभोटिङ माइसेल्फ होइन त्यसको लागि हजुरको समय पनि मैले लिएको छु थ्याङ्क यू सो मच है अब जहिले पनि आउँछु है म जहिले पनि आउँछु जब चाहिँ म हुन्छु होइन जब मेरो मुटुको धड्कन चलिरहेको हुन्छ म बाँचिरहेको हुन्छु राइट फिजिकली पनि बाँच्नु पऱ्यो नि त मान्छे होइन त्योसम्म चाहिँ म आउँछु र हजुरलाई झकझकाउने काम हजुरको आँखा खोलिदिने काम हुन त हजुर मभन्दा धेरै बुझ्ने धेरै जान्ने पनि हुनुहुन्छ होला उमेरको हिसाबले पनि र अनुभवको हिसाबले पनि तर पनि म जे जान्छु मलाई जे चाहिँ मैले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ ठिक हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मेरो व्यक्तिगत तर्फबाट मैले व्यक्तिगत दिने इफोर्ट चाहिँ म सधैँ दिइरहेको छु भन्न चाहन्छु सो अब चाहिँ म मेरो स्केड्युल अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ यति नै अनि जसले पनि मलाई सपोर्ट गरिरहेको छ है हेरेर लाइक गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने छैन होइन हेरेर उहाँहरूलाई प्रत्यक्ष रूपमा र अप्रत्यक्ष रूपमा होइन त्यही भन्न चाहन्छु डाइरेक्टली इन्डिरेक्टली हु आर हेल्पिङ मी अ लट अल्सो द पार्ट अफ माई थ्याङ्क यू है हजुरलाई थ्याङ्क यू सो मच अनि धेरै खुसी लागेको छ बाहिर समझम पानी परिरहेछ र पनि यस्तो धेरै चाहिँ स्टब हुन्छु कि म होइन यस्तो धेरै चाहिँ जाद्रो भनिन्छ नि एकदम नै हुन त यो जाद्रो शब्द कतिको चाहिँ ठिक आई डोन्ट नो बट एकदम धेरै चाहिँ गर्नुपर्छ भनेपछि रातको 12 बजी किन नहोस् त्यो चिज गर्नै पर्छ त्यो त्यति साह्रो ज्याद्रो हुन कतिको ठिक हो तर मलाई ठिक लाग्छ किन भन्दाखेरि मान्छेको लाइफ हो क्या भोलि पर्सि आई डोन्ट केयर भोलि पर्सि आउँछ कि आउँदैन अहिले हो मेरो लागि सो मैले अहिले हजुरलाई एजुकेट गरिरहेको छु मैले जे चाहिँ बुझिरहेको छु मैले जे जिन्दगीलाई चाहिँ गरिरहेको छु त्यो अनुसार सो थ्याङ्क यू सो मच अनि धेरै धेरै चाहिँ सकारात्मक हुनु होला र सकारात्मक भएका ती अनुभूतिहरूलाई आफूमै नघुम्साइसला क्या त्यो कुरालाई चाहिँ एक्जिक्युट गर्छला अल इन सबैभन्दा त कार्यान्वयन पक्ष नै सबभन्दा ठुलो कुरा हो नि त होइन त्यही भन्न चाहन्छु ल थ्याङ्क यू सो मच थ्याङ्क यू